Tell them who a guy like me behind all this stuff.
Behind all this stuff?
Yeah, let them know.
I've known Mike in a lot of different variations. And there was a time in life where Michael wasn't as happy and as accomplished and the vibrations in him now, and he wasn't being kind to his body. And so Michael and I came up with the system that where we're at, a restaurant, movie, anywhere, he would tap me, and I would know that he was scared and overwhelmed. And I would say, and I said, Michael, I love you. And then we would touch heads in the African tradition. Mental health is about asking for help.
Mike's a seeker because he knows the most important thing is to make peace with himself. And nothing else really matters at the end of the day. The titles, all that shit, it really is irrelevant.
It's game time.
It's game time.
It's game time.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to a very, very special episode with my man, Seano McFarland.
Hello, brother. Welcome,
so
man.
good to be with you, man.
Thank you. This is a blessing here.
Oh,
what a
okay.
spot. Wow.
What a vibe, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you close your eyes, you can hear Ray Charles. You can dig deep. It's here. It's soulful. This is a soulful place.
So we're going to feed off some of that energy and we're going to speak from, the depths, bro. That's what I like to do.
All right, let's get down, brother.
I was talking to our guy, Ben.
Brother Benjamin.
Yeah,
my
shout out Ben.
The...
We got to give a big shout out, Ben. There you go, Ben. Thank you.
Yes.
So let's start here. I thought this would be a good place to start. I worked in the music industry here in LA for a while. Everything crashed, annihilated just completely. And I ended up in Arizona, Scottsdale, for a little while, believe that or not. And I kind of got I was like the phoenix. It's funny because literally it's called Phoenix. I was kind of a phoenix rising from the ashes there, maybe like a year before the pandemic. I know that you were kidnapped in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. At the time, Arizona in that time, the 70s, had the highest child abduction rate in the country. Yeah, heavy, right?
Super heavy. And I'm going to maybe semi blow your mind right now, but I heard you share in another interview, your dad wasn't really present, right? And then you guys, you guys had to sort of fend for yourselves and figure it out, and that's kind of what brought you there. So it's like, you've got a wild story that kind of the domino effect was your dad just not being there just triggered off this domino effect.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that. I'm just taking that in right now.
Yeah.
If you could share a little bit about what happened after you kidnapped, how were you kidnapped? That's a very intense story. How old were you? I want to find out more about that.
So you're straight in the deep end. We're
going right to the deep end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry not to, but I feel like
you want to start there.
There's a lot of ground to cover with you, Seano. You've just got a lot of medicine for people. So as the host of the show, I'm trying to get the medicine out there to people.
All right, let's
Are you down for that?
Yeah, I'm always down for that.
Thank you.
But this is I'm honored to be in your space, and so I'm going to follow your direction. So, see, the beauty that I can tell the story is I'm not attached to the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying it with exhibitionism. It's a survival story. It's a homecoming story. It's a story of perseverance, of great teachers and healers helping me heal from what happened. And I'll tell you, so I was 12 years old, and I was kidnapped from the Venus apartment complex, 3500 North 75th Street in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was drugged, 2 people, a male and a female, older male, younger girl, enticed by money. And I was tortured and tied up and mask was put over my head, and I was getting hit and asked to do a lot of different things, and there was a gun put in my head.
Yeah.
And they threatened to kill my brother and my sister, and I believed them. And I woke up drugged in a bowling alley and made my way back home.
That's a lot to take in, just as a listener to that story. I've been around a lot of recovery rooms. I've heard a lot of stories in these rooms, and I just want to honor you and say what an amazing thing that you've alchemized that pain.
Yes. Yes, because that's what I've done. I've been able to use that experience and flip it and help other brothers and sisters around the world.
We're getting rich right now. You
Let's get
realize
rich.
that? We're getting rich. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
because that would suck if I was still that person.
Yes. And in fact, I heard you shared beautifully. You said, shame on them
For treating me that way, and shame
on me for staying that way.
Thank you.
I believe.
That's my saying. That's right.
It's beautiful.
That's right. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, of course.
Because if I don't honor myself, if I don't honor you and what we're doing right here, they won. And that's fucking unacceptable. If I'm not kind to myself, they won. If I don't live out loud and take risk and dream and push myself, they won. And I'm just not willing to do that anymore.
Wow. That was beautifully said.
Thanks.
Yeah. And as one fellow alchemizer to another, I mean, I've been through, I don't know if you know anything about Lyme disease. I haven't shared.
A little bit, yes. My
it's
East Coast
gnarly.
clients. Yeah, it's
gnarly.
brutal.
It mimics MS, rheumatoid arthritis. It mimics like 10 serious diseases. And neurological diseases, like people can't remember, they lose short-term memory, long-term memory. And I went through probably like 14 years of like just straight darkness, man, traveling all around the country, trying to get answers. I had 6 knee surgeries because it was making it impossible for me to walk at like the age of 24, 25, pretty young. So, this whole, I just want to share a little bit about that, just to say this idea of alchemizing strife and adversity. You now have medicine that you can take to other people and help them on their healing journey. Mm-hmm. You with me?
100%.
So like, it's a blessing and a privilege to be able to do that and to remain just a devotee.
Right on.
Like you created Shell. Do you feel like you were kind of just following a divine assignment with what
That's correct. Truly, I really believe my life is none of my business, and all my problems are a question of faith. I just show up like a motherfucker and then see what happens. Action, action, action. I know I'm not the smartest guy. There's so many cooler people. It's going to be hard to see somebody who's going to beat me at showing up.
Although you're pretty dope.
Well,
just want to like give it out there, man.
That.
You got a vibe like you're a jazz musician, man.
Yeah, well,
you're not a jazz musician, though.
No, but I grew up with the beats. That was my thing. I mean, the rhythm and jazz and the poetry of it, and yeah.
So it makes sense that
yeah.
Okay, all right, good. I just want to make sure I'm not on my own island with this thinking.
No,
all right, okay.
I'm a bebop brother. That's what I am.
I love that,
bebop
man.
brother. Yeah.
You're a very soulful cat.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Yeah. I mean, I look at conversations like really we're just jamming together.
Beautiful.
That's really what it is, and hopefully what we share here, sparks for those tuning in. That's the idea.
Well, we're here.
That's it.
Where it lands, not our business. Right?
That's it. No, that's it. And you never know what's gonna hit who. So we just keep doing the deal.
Going, yep.
That's it. People that have gone through really gnarly experiences like those that we just shared, there could be a bit of familiarity with the shambles, familiarity with the discomfort, and then when shit starts to get good again, they can sabotage the shit out of that, and I'm guilty of that. Does that make sense? Because you're so used to having your switch flipped into struggle mode. That and darkness. I like you use the words light and dark a lot. I've heard, right? Yeah. So people can be so caught up in the darkness and so comfortable in the darkness that when some light starts to enter, they're like, "Fuck that! I'm going back here." Do you see that all day long with people that you've worked with?
Addiction, daily reprieve, based on your spiritual, right? I have darkness trying to overtake me.
Wow. Every day.
And it's just that the blessing is it's not an 11 like it was when I was younger. It's more hovers around a 3 or 4, but I'm always on guard. There's always, it's success, it's people cutting you off, it's the violence in my hood, whatever it is. But it's my job to keep my force filled up. And it's my job to never forget where I came from. I'm more scared of my disease now. Almost at 36, I'll be the 5th of January, I'll be 36.
Congratulations.
I'm more scared now than I was before.
And go more into that.
Because I've been around and I've seen much greater, smarter men than me and women that had everything lose it and not come back.
Damn.
You know, I'll tell you, one of the scariest things I've heard is people that I'm super close with, 15, 20 years, people that I've married as an officiant. I can't get back, Seano. They can't get back. I'm trying to, I just can't, I don't know what's going on. I can get 2 days, I get 3 days. And these are circuit speakers. They're people that are, you know, just, they can't get back.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified. So I'm not willing to trade it. I don't want to miss my connect, like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
When I take my son to NYU, I don't want to miss anything. I think I might get ramen afterwards. I really want to taste it, man. I don't want to miss, and I appreciate everything.
Amen.
I don't forget where I came from. That's a real force field that I really want to connect with every day.
That's a real gem for people, because we get all like into our routines and go on autopilot, so many of us, and keeping top of mind where you've been and the mountains that you've climbed. Man, you've climbed Kilimanjaro 10 times.
I think it's important. I certainly have my spiritual board of directors.
Yeah.
People that know your blind spots.
Perfect.
What am I missing? What are you seeing? I feel funky. Call it out. I'm such a huge believer in living in consultation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. The thing about that, Seano, is I also went through a lot of bullying. I switched schools like 15 times. So that was a super tough thing for me as well. Yeah. And what can happen, and you can relate to this because of the harrowing experiences that you shared about earlier, is what happens is when you're young and that happens to you, you can learn to put walls up to protect yourself, right? And I was doing that for years, and I felt so isolated and disconnected, and I was just, you know, it was like, felt like I was going through the Saharan desert, like looking for my canteen, like often, right? Because we're wired to connect, right? Like, you know, physiologically we're wired for that. So I saw a quote one day that just changed everything for me, and it said, "The walls we put up to keep out the pain also keep out the joy."
All day long.
Yeah. And so then I was like, fuck this, I'm running now. And everything changed. And I'm in the middle of the herd right now, which is like a recovery saying, isn't it?
Yes,
just
it
try
is.
and stay in the
Stay
middle of the herd.
Just stay in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, I don't want to make light of how challenging it is to do the contrary action and to trust. You know, how I found out about you was I heard you on Mike Tyson's podcast, Hotboxing. You know, the baddest dude on the planet, right? Had to like learn how to be at ease, and, you know, and I think in that episode he said he attacks because he's scared.
Yes.
Yes. So for you, where did you fall in that game? I mean, were you more aggressive with it, or were you more kind of reserved with it?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Okay, so after that happened, I made a vow to myself that nobody would ever hurt me.
Yeah.
And I became extremely violent.
You did?
Put my mom in the hospital because it was just really, I was really, you know, the beauty of sobriety for myself in AA and all 12 steps for healing was, I just had that moment where I said, I got to start letting stuff go. And I just, you know, I can't fight anymore. And it wasn't easy. 3 to 5. So I got sober at 22. So 22, 23, 20 was like learning how not to kill myself one day at a time. So it's not been like all of a sudden I woke up and everything's cool.
Okay. That's what I need to know. Yeah.
No, it was scary.
Yeah. Okay.
The world was loud and I didn't want to drink. That was taken away from me. Thank you, God, for that. But living, emotional sobriety, who am I?
Yeah.
How do I?
People get it twisted. You know, alcohol, drugs is not the problem. You have a living problem. You're using those things as your solution for your living problem.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So you took away those things. You still had a living problem.
I still have a living problem.
Yeah.
A big one. And that, I mean, that's a lifetime journey, but that's just been an unraveling, and it's, you know, it's still going on.
It's still going on.
Always.
Because you've 36 years, you've come a long way.
Long ways.
Are you still in touch with like growth spurts that you'll have
Honestly,
on your journey?
I feel I still treat myself as a newcomer.
Wow. Being this far into your journey, what was one of the recent growth spurts, if you don't mind. I think it'd be fascinating. Because obviously, like, you know what a newcomer's growth spurts look like. Oh, my family's talking to me again. You know, with somebody that's 35, 36 years in, what's a growth spurt look like?
Well, let me think. My son's going away to college. He's my best friend.
That's amazing.
And that's the thing I'm most proud of is I'm big on ending generational trauma.
Yeah. Amen to that.
And when he walks the campus of Stern at NYU, he's safe in the world. He's got a great GPS. I'm not worried about him. But this is a huge shift for me.
That's a testament to you, though.
It's a testament to me and my ex-wife and having great teachers. But yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I showed up for it. That's right.
The work you've done.
That's right.
You see?
That's exactly right. And that's something I'm very proud of. He's never seen me high. He's never visited me in prison. Never had the locks changed on his house. None of that stuff. Never been pulled out of school because tuition's not been paid.
Man.
Yeah, man.
I love hearing that, man.
But him going away, that's a real growth spurt.
Because now you got to kind of let go and trust a little bit, or what, because
my whole life has been dedicated to him,
man.
And I'm grateful. I want him to have things, but it's just like, and it's going to be interesting. And I use everything to go higher. I love being uncomfortable.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm going to use it because it's going to bring up things in me.
Amen. So, do you know this guy Sandy Beach? He was like a prolific AA speaker,
oh my God.
right? Okay,
yeah, I used to have that stuff on cassette.
Okay, thank you. I listened to that all the time, and alcohol wasn't my drug of choice. But I'm like, this guy is amazing when it comes to recovery. He's like, here's the gem, which I'll share with you, and the listeners might have shared this before, but it's worth sharing again. He's like, if our work on ourselves is never done, and we're constantly climbing this mountain with no top to, we're never going to reach the top. Why do we keep climbing this mountain and putting all this work in? And he said it's because the views get better.
Yeah.
I thought that was so amazing.
Big time. This is a long time ago. Maybe you'll appreciate this, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it 20 years ago. There was a big, you had to be 50 years to speak at this meeting.
You had to have 50
years.
Damn, dude.
So I'm a historian.
Yeah.
And if I hear somebody slip, I will always pray and have compassion. But my ears are always the ground. Why? It's usually the same. I want to know what happened. Stop going to meetings. Stop living in consultation. Kept a secret.
Kept a fucking
secret.
Man.
Boom.
Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Secrets kill.
So on that note, I watched a video of you talk about a newcomer was working with their sponsor, and you get so afraid of sharing the deep shit. And there was a story about a chicken.
Yes.
It's a family friendly show, but it's too good not to share. So please.
Well, okay. And then I'm going to come back to what they said at the 50-year meeting. Remind me to tell you that.
Yeah. We'll go back to the 50-year thing, but this was a good segment.
So this is a famous AA story. For your listeners and anybody, you share about your past and your history and things you're embarrassed about.
And everybody, this is a human thing, am I right?
It's a human thing. It could be anything, whatever. And some of them are really intense and scary and trauma and things. And this poor kid was so nervous, and he was literally shaking. And the sponsor was super cool. And, he's going through, I'm mad at Aunt Edna and Jimmy the mechanic. And all this, because he fucked my Mustang up. And And the guy's just, okay. And then the guy goes, this is one, I can't tell you this one. I got it. And he goes, no, it's okay. It's okay. And he goes, I fucked a chicken. Sponsor, okay. He's just like, okay, cool, got it. Let's go to the next one. Turn to the page. Yeah, but I just told you I fucked a chicken. I know, just go to the next one, please. And he goes, I know, but and he goes, did yours die? And they laugh like that, right? And that's the beauty, these things that we think are so
unique to us.
But it's like
this is really a heavy moment, because it's those lies that we believe kind of just take us lower and lower and lower and lower until we're just buried.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it's shame. And shame blocks the light.
Shame blocks the light.
The light can't come in because you don't want any light.
Yeah.
I'm a bad person. I did this.
For sure.
Fuck them, blah, 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 blah. No, let it out. Whatever it is. Let it out. because we've been through it. But this is beautiful, brother. Thank you for this platform.
Yeah, of course.
Find somebody that's a closed-mouth friend when you talk. When you share your secrets with somebody, make sure they're a closed-mouth friend, that they honor the spirit of what's happening.
Yeah.
And that you trust them enough that you can tell them anything. And they're not going to make fun of you. They're not going to embarrass you. They'll keep it between you guys. And it's a safe place to really let go. And if you don't have that person, I beg of you, find somebody else till you can tell it.
For sure.
It's really important.
Even if it's a therapist who's bound by
Exactly.
confidentiality.
Clergy,
or
it says it in the book. Closed-mouth friend.
Closed-mouth friend. I like that. The 50-year thing. Let's just button that up.
So, oh my God, all these guys with 50 years. I went up to him, I said, if you could do anything different, what would you do?
It's a great question.
Right? And most of them said, I wouldn't sweat shit so much.
Fucking A, man. I just saw this on the internet the other day. You know, like the biggest regret when we're dying is like that we didn't like ease up a little bit more and just enjoy
And
it.
it sounds corny and simple, but it's not. So as I kind of navigate, I let more people win. I just don't sweat stuff as much. I mean, some stuff still gets me, but not much.
Yeah. That's beautiful. You have a lot of equanimity.
Yeah, big time.
You know what I mean? You're also tapped in with nature. I see you're in the water all the time.
Every day.
Nature, listen, man, I'm in Venice, just like you. And when you get me by the water, I'm telling you, you know, right out of the gate, 70% of the pressure just goes away. That
Never
I'm
feel
feeling,
bad when I come
right?
out of the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying you don't even have to go in the ocean, just
No,
like
but
being
get
near,
there.
you know? It's like getting back to this idea, because I think it's pretty rich subject matter, is like this idea of sabotage. And again, especially coming in Shell, where, you know, Shell's a rehabilitation center pretty much, right? So it's like people have been in the fucking dark for an extended period of time. Seano, how do you get them comfortable with the light? And is there this kind of snapback thing where, you know, a little bit of light starts coming in and they want to snap back to the dark? That's what I'm saying.
Come on, that's my job.
So how do you like what kind of magic wand do you have over there on, you know, on Venice there that you're able to do? It's like
Well, I think the magic of what we do at Shell and the gift that I have is I meet people where they're at. Mm-hmm. And I really do make it a safe place for them, and I can love them. I can also say, brother, man, you're so fucking full of shit right now. Or listen, you're dying right now. Do you want to do something different? Because you're dying. And they could be sober 10, 15 years.
The emotional sobriety.
They might be physically sober, but they're on their way out.
Wow.
Because they're getting ready to do things. They're lining it up. There really is an art to, like, people need to be heard. It's active listening.
Yeah, for sure.
Most people have the listening skills of a garage mechanic.
I like that line, Seano.
Huh?
I like that line. That's funny. Yeah.
But I try I'm just a middleman for God, truth, higher consciousness, and trying to connect them with something outside of their nutty brain.
Yeah.
And I'm about whatever works. If it's getting in the ocean, if it's going down to Mocha looking at art, if it's hearing Coltrane, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But community, that's so important. I just don't know how you got to find the tribe.
You got to find the tribe.
Got to find the tribe.
The frequency of the world, again, it's like if you watch the fucking news for an hour, like the frequency of the world is a low vibrational frequency. Is it not?
Yes, that's correct.
And I get in these rooms, like you so beautifully opened up your space to me, and I had an amazing time.
Thank you, man.
At that support group. Yeah, thank you. And it's like, man, that frequency bings up. You know what I'm saying? And I think I said that in my share that night. I was like, man, it's a remembrance of what it's like to be a human being. You know, I don't know how we fucked up so badly, but the day-to-day frequency of the world is fucked. It's like people following the nuttiness of it all.
Let me add, and hopefully this is helpful.
Please.
And
yeah.
We've got a couple rules at Shell. The world doesn't need to change, we do.
That's fuck.
Okay.
I needed that one, Seano, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hit people. And then I try to help people. The only person you suffer from is you. And we're going to change the sad story. And I'll hear your sad. I'll hear the story, whatever the story is. But we're going to shift the narrative a little bit. And that's scary for people because they don't want to move it sometimes. I give them a ramp to say, hey, if you want, we'll go over here.
And some people aren't ready for that.
And some people are not. And that's where I meet them. And I try my best not to ask them to do things they can't do. It's a real art, how to pay somebody. But what we do, I just love that saying, we're going to love you until you love yourself. That's what we do. We're going to love you until you can love yourself.
That's a beautiful one. Yeah.
And we're going to give you value in your suffering, value in who you are, and value in what you're doing. And we're going to give you care. And we're going to find out what you're good at. And then you're going to go help somebody with whatever you're good at.
It's like somebody opening the door for me, and then there's a dude right here behind me. My first inclination is, oh, this dude opened the door for me. I'm gonna hold the door open for the next guy. Are you with me?
It's highly suggested.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wouldn't it be weird if like the dude in front of me opens the door for me, I walk, and then I'm just like, and just let it slam by this dude behind me? That'd just be weird.
It would help you be on a higher vibration if you get out of yourself and be of service.
When our addictions take us to the lowest point, people can do things that they just, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, I want to bring a little levity to this because one of the things you did was get a DUI on a
bicycle. Pacific Beach in San Diego.
That
was a rough weekend,
story.
man.
I need the full story, Seano, please.
Oh my God, I was dating this incredible girl, and Robin Williams, God bless him, was in San Francisco. He would have this free concert at the park there every summer.
Yeah.
And she took me out there, and I ended up in a crack house. I don't have any idea how I got there. Blacked out. She threw all my stuff out. Went and drank at the bar at the airport. And then I just went down to the beach and was on my bike and mouthing off to a cop. And he's like, brother, man. So yeah, I got a DUI on a Schwinn. Really sexy. Packed summer day, Pacific Beach. Everyone's laughing at me. There's just,
There goes your street cred.
There goes my street cred. Just dumb shit, right?
Oh my God, man. Yeah. I want to humanize it a little bit for, I don't know who's listening right now, where they're at in their journey, but, we need to share a couple highlights of your journey because that's the connection is magic piece. That's the relatability piece.
Yeah, no, I was,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a stone cold alcoholic. I drink in the morning. And why I got sober, part of it was my body gave out and I had, advanced stages of alcoholism. My liver was fucked
And you were
up.
a runner.
Yeah, I was a runner.
And you were really fourth in the nation?
Yeah, but when I was younger,
point?
I was. That was my dream. I had the gift. I never felt safe in the world. Always felt like you had it going on better than me. And I was just kind of a scaredy cat. And if I look at somebody, and I have zero regrets about that.
Yeah.
I have zero regrets about anything. Honestly. That wasn't my time.
Yeah.
Well, I run now.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But no one's going to put a medal over my neck. That's for sure.
We still give you your shine. So
yeah,
you're
exactly,
still doing
man.
good.
It's all good.
When you did a couple stints in prison, right? To getting back into the light, to use your terminology, which I love, and starting Shell, like how long of a period is that? Because I think what would be helpful for the listeners now is to talk about that moment of clarity that they say where you're going from that. You were also you said you were caught up with like Colombian drug dealers and all. I mean, your story is wild. Okay, so we're just footnoting it right now, but your story is wild. So there was also a hit out on you at one point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I heard this and I'm just like, is this a movie?
That's all very real, man. That was my life.
What does that feel like now, sitting here? Does it feel like
it's like it happened to a different person? Honestly, that's
I'm
it.
so happy you said that.
I don't know that guy anymore.
I tell people, I used to ride motorcycles at like 180 miles an hour on the highway. Wasn't alcoholic, but drank a shit ton, smoked like 2 packs of cigarettes a day and gambled my face off. And so funny, like now I'm fucking basically vegan. I'm like into recovery. I'm like into taking care of myself. And when I meet new friends now and tell them about that version of me, nobody fucking believes it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the blessing of it, right?
That's the
because you've
blessing of
changed.
it.
People don't see you that way anymore.
No.
You could say to me, Seano, I guarantee you bring a couple keys from the Bahamas to LA. I'm going to give you $10 million. I guarantee you, you will not get arrested or do that.
Yeah.
I would say no, thank you, without a heartbeat.
an old Seano then would have like I wouldn't have been able to finish my sentence,
Let's
and you
make
would
it
have been on
happen.
it.
Let's
Yeah,
make it happen,
yeah.
brother.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp and Blow. I got that.
Let's just make it happen.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but that whole time in Miami in the 80s, and it
Yeah.
was just, that was it, you know? Got sober in 87, and
How long after prison? Like, I just want to make that connection.
my last time, couple of years.
Prison obviously is a rock bottom for many, right, Seano? So I'm like, was it that rock bottom that got
No.
you to take a look? Okay, so
No.
do you mind sharing the rock bottom that got you to take a look so we can kind of get into the arc of your story, you know?
The rock bottom was, I would look in the mirror every morning and say, you fucking piece of shit. I hated myself. The rock bottom was, I knew I had so much more inside me, but I couldn't get it together.
Man.
And my body, I was like, it wasn't fun or pretty. And, you know, I went back to selling my body. You know, after I got kidnapped, I became a street prostitute. And I didn't do that, but like, there was a period of time there where it was just, I had court case. It was just fucking scary, man. I just didn't, and I would just hang out with losers.
Comfortable in the chaos, though.
Comfortable in the chaos.
Yeah.
And my sister, God bless her, Tori, she was 19, and she came over with her sponsor, and they 12-stepped me. And it stuck. So it wasn't like, my bottom was, I think I couldn't be me anymore.
You got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
It was
almost,
sick and
right?
tired of being
Yeah.
sick and tired.
Yeah.
And I think that has to happen.
You're right. Because, you know, when I got in recovery for gambling, I had an older brother that was like concerned. I remember him bringing me to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting and he was crying and I wasn't. I was 17. I was 17 and he was bawling.
But my greatest surrenders probably were not even that. It's in sobriety.
But your sister, did she try and nudge you before that day?
No, because
is what I'm trying to-
we were party pals. She did the
Okay.
old school, just like, I love you, you're killing yourself. If you want to come, great. If not, I can't be around you.
Okay.
No hard sell.
Okay. No hard sell. Yeah. Yeah.
Can't hard sell this thing.
You got to want it. You got to actually want it.
You got to want it.
Then so begins your upward trajectory, if you will. Then you did some time in acting. You linked up with Jeff Goldblum at one point, right?
Jeff, you know, brother, you
Shout
might be
out
watching.
Jeff.
Great teachers.
Yeah, was he a mentor? Was he a mentor to you?
Incredible. I did 3 movies with Jeff. I was his driver, stand-in. He was the most prepared guy on the set.
Wow.
Always kind. Always went out of his way to introduce me to people. And he was in between. Well, that's why I learned always stay busy.
You got that from Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the many people.
Yeah.
He, you know, movie sets, long time breaks. Start working on his music. Always just boom, 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 boom.
He's got the coolest energy, right?
Special cat. I
Yeah.
mean, look at him. His career is just
Yeah. Midas touch.
Midas touch.
Yeah.
But he puts the work in.
I sat here with Dr. Dre's attorney, and he's been around. He did the original deal for David Geffen, and he's just been around the game a long time.
Long time.
And I was just like, what's the combination between luck and hard work? And he's like, it's definitely way more hard work than it is luck.
Right.
And
These
so
guys show up.
you would agree?
100%.
Yeah. It's stamina, essentially. Anything that comes overnight generally is not such a good thing anyways, right? So why would you want it overnight? You couldn't appreciate it.
Can't.
You know,
right.
there's no appreciation for it. It's the journey, and that's kind of where we started the conversation.
Well, I have so much fun because I'm constantly surprised.
Go more into that, Seano. What do you mean?
Like, I didn't plan on being here, being on your show. This was a blessing, came out of nowhere. I mean, I can give you 100 of those. That's the beauty. That's why I have so much fun.
Wow.
It's not like, once again, my life, I have a big life and a lot of responsibilities, and people die and things happen and break, you know. But like, sometimes I get my answer FedEx priority overnight, and sometimes it's by mule. But here's the thing, I know it's always going to drop. Never on my timeline. I'll get the answer. I just don't have it right now. It'll drop in though. I'll meet this person, something will happen. Right.
That's beautiful.
But you never know. Like for me, I really thought my craft, I mean, real quickly, I mean, Dylan McDermott, another guy I want to give a shout out to, who's just a beautiful teacher. He allowed me to be in this play that was a huge hit and really put me on the map. David Mamet, William Macy, I want to give you a shout out for allowing me to be a part of Atlantic Theater Group. And that was a dream. It was just like, oh man, my dreams are really coming true.
How'd you get tapped in with Dylan McDermott though? Was it a phone call? Was it just
I met him and I just
and...
met him through some brothers and we clicked. He saw something in me that I couldn't see myself.
That's a gem. Yeah.
That's a gem. Right. And he knew how to like push me and love me. And it led to a bunch of different things. But then in 96, I got run over by a car.
I heard you share about that.
Yeah.
So kind of everything, your life was kind of doing this upward trajectory
Big
thing,
time.
and then
top of my game.
I think everything is God. I'm a big God guy. What were you supposed to realize in that? Like, because that happened, we talked about the dominoes, right? Your dad.
I knew to stay grateful.
Boom,
I knew to stay grateful because I would heal because I had a bone that was fusing in my C1 vertebrae, which contribute, all your movement. Christopher Reeve died C1. No one survived C1.
Fucking miracle you are.
Yeah, big time. And so I had the faith. I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, other than I had to heal. And then I get a call from a brother that wants me to go talk to this basketball player who's in a lot of trouble, who's in his movie. Right? I said, I'd love to. I wasn't supposed to. I drove over there. And about 15 minutes in, I said, hey, man, I don't want to be rude or presumptuous. I said, did somebody rape you? And he broke down crying. Him and I became really good friends. This team hired me to work with him. And that's what led me to going to UCLA and start it.
Wow.
And so that's what I'm saying is like, I just don't know. You just never know. You think you're supposed to learn this, but it might be something else. I mean, that's bullseye. Why you're here, right?
That's bullseye, man. Yeah. Just to share quickly, man, I was doing music management. I was fucking doing music management. I was an honorary psychologist as a music manager. Right. Now I'm getting my master's in clinical psychology, right? So everything and it's fucking way better than my plan. The entertainment industry can really fuck a lot of people up.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Because if we're being honest, a lot of it is ego driven. Mm-hmm. A lot of it. And there's a lot of dark energy around the entertainment industry. Yep. Talk to me about that.
Well,
Talk to me about that.
Listen, I've been blessed to, and you're going to do great in your job, by the way. I can feel that. I'm looking forward to referring to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I've been blessed to work with some of the biggest and baddest in the world. Darkness doesn't give a fuck about your gold records.
As we're sitting here in the studio where there's a lot of gold records that were made here, darkness doesn't give a fuck about your gold records, right?
Everybody's under attack. And it could, you just have a bigger fortress sometimes to hide out.
Your podcast with Mike Tyson, that was one of the best podcast episodes I've heard.
Oh, that's very sweet, buddy.
Oh my God. And you guys went right for the deep end. That's what I was trying to replicate. Let's just go right for the deep end. But what a shining example, a guy like Mike, where it's like you said, guys that have achieved so much, it's harder for them to go there. But what's an anomaly to me about Mike, I'm not exaggerating, I've never seen a guy that's achieved or accomplished more reach that level of humility. Is that wild? Are you with me on that?
Yeah,
You've been around 100%. A lot of successful people, but I've never seen that.
It's very real. Mike's a seeker.
Is that it? I need to know, because you guys have history. It's just
15 years of history living together.
Mike is a guy that, to bring it back, he alchemized
big time because he knows the most important thing is to make peace with himself, and nothing else really matters at the end of the day. The titles, all that shit, it really is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Didn't bring his daughter back. I mean, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's irrelevant.
Right, because once you have that level and you see that you're still subject to the human experience, he's huge on not getting caught up in your ego.
Yeah.
Right? And man.
Well, I think why that resonated with people because it was so, when he says, I'm just so scared. People only know how scared I am.
He's like, I'm the baddest man on the planet. And yet it's coming from fear. I think he called himself a scared little kid in that, didn't he?
Yeah.
One of the most poignant moments of that interview for me was when you talked about, you were with him and you would go to restaurants, right? Do you remember this part
Yes,
of it?
of course.
Right. Can you please share that? Because there's listeners here that might have not heard
Well,
that
this
episode
goes back
yet,
to what
you
we
know?
started with, why trust is so important.
Please. Yeah.
You don't need 20, you just need one person that you can trust. You know, Mike put me to the test a lot in the beginning because so many people have stolen from him.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don King was like his closest and just totally
And
took
just
advantage
people
of him.
that
yeah.
want to, and I'll tell you about that story, but what led up to that was they were getting ready to send his ass back to prison in Arizona. They did not like him. They were going after him.
That was in the press.
Yeah,
He got
big time.
arrested out there.
And so I was helping him with the court dates and doing all that. And so the first time we traveled together, we're going into the room and he said, okay, I'll see you in a minute. I said, no, Mike, I'm staying with you. No, you're not. No white motherfucker's going to stay with me. And I said, no, Mike, I'm going to stay with you because you know what's going to happen. We're in Arizona, man. This is where you get in trouble. You're going to have some girl, blah, 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 blah. No. And then he gives me the stare down.
The Mike Tyson stare down.
The stare down.
What? Yeah. You're a courageous man, Seano.
It's like, that's a look. I've seen him give that look to people before, right? And I said, Mike, are we getting ready to fucking get down with each other right now? Because I got some fucking moves, dude. And he said the N word really loud. And he said, all right. And then he just took his clothes off and was naked. And I said, damn, okay. And we never looked back. But
That's a beautiful story.
yeah. It was really, but like, you got to know like when to say no and yes. He was like over 300. He was really overweight.
Man. Wow.
And he was really, money was tight. It was just funky and just so much was happening. And
This is like the Hangover movies, I think, you know,
right? No,
more like
before,
the resurgence and all that.
before
Right?
all
Before
that.
that.
Before
There
all
you
that.
go. Yeah.
And he was in a real depressive, angry, just leave me alone. I'd get him out in the world and we would, you know, I would take him out and there was a restaurant in Venice that he loved, some food there. But it was hard for him because he'd go in and when we would walk in, his brain would just think that everybody was like, stop, freeze frame. Look at this big fat N-word. And so what we came up with was, now I always tell this because it's so important to think about Mike, the baddest man on the planet. So what we do is he would just touch my hand, which was him asking for help, saying he was scared. And I said, oh, cool. And then I would look at him like I'm looking at you. And I said, I love you, man. I said, I got you, brother. We're cool. And then we would, you know, in the African, touch foreheads with each other. And we would go about and do our thing. And we did that a lot. And that's why in the podcast, you could just see our love and commitment to each other. I didn't want anything from Mike. It was a blessing to work with him, but I didn't want anything from him. Everybody wanted something from him.
Yeah.
Had I not been kidnapped, I would never been able to help him.
Explain why.
Trauma survivor to trauma survivor, drunk to
Okay.
drunk,
Yeah.
hustler to hustler.
You speak the language.
Speak the language.
So how you guys linked up? Because it's like you said, God just, you know, arranges just to pieces sometimes.
There was a legendary guy in the recovery business named Bob Timmons.
Okay, not familiar.
Yeah, and he worked with a lot of cats, and he had a woman named Sheila Balkan who did all on big court cases. He started the drug courts.
Oh, wow.
So instead of sending, him and Harold Owens, love you, Harold, and they just heard about me and brought Mike in, and basically he just interviewed me in my office. So my son, he was just a couple of years old. I had a bunch of pictures of my son there. And he wanted me to explain sex addiction to him. I said, if I get my disease, I looked at the pictures to Dylan. I said, fuck him. Fuck my son. He's fucking my life up. I don't got time for him. It gets so dark. And he goes, this is my guy. He gets it.
Wow. Mike knew that you
That I understood. That I spoke the language of like, this wasn't some clinical bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not smart like that. I can't break the DS. That's not my gift. My gift is going, you tell me about this.
Yeah.
Did this happen? Why are you so scared? No, don't do that. Come on, let's go higher. Don't quit on yourself.
It's like all intuition with you.
It's intuition.
The fucking rape, right? The guy
Yeah.
that you met. It's like you knew.
I know, because that's it. Now, had I not happened, all the things happened to me, I wouldn't
be
able
as
to
in tune. You're
No,
super
exactly.
Okay. Wow. Damn, dude. Like a 1962 Les Paul.
Yeah, no, it's it.
Dude, man. So there's a lot of fucked up shit in the recovery world too. Am I right? There's people
Always.
preying on people and shit, man. It's crazy.
Every right, of course there are.
How's that make you feel?
You know, That's a very spiritual, ethical crime. I've learned over the years, and I've not been perfect with this, I'm just going to do great work, what I think is great work.
Yeah.
And if those people come my way, hopefully I can help them. There's a lot of people that prey on our vulnerabilities.
Fuck. I know.
The problem with recovery is, though, sometimes you just get one shot. You know, because a junkie will justify and rationalize anything. That's the difference. And it's like, I showed up, I did this. This is what recovery is. These guys took all my money. Whatever the story is.
Then you're back to being isolated. And now you're almost like worse. You're worse in some ways because now you've trusted and...
Yeah, it's definitely a betrayal.
When we're doing our thing in this world, Seano, like I'm doing this podcast thing, you're doing Shell, you're helping people. You know, I remember you saying some people think you're the shit as a therapist, and some people think fuck this guy or something.
Fucking
right?
joke.
Whatever you said.
What's up with this guy?
Yeah,
got a rainbow pushed up his ass. What's going on?
There
I don't get it.
There you go. I think what an amazing takeaway for the listeners would be, because I feel like everybody's trying to follow, and I call this I'm divinely guided to do this shit. You know what I mean? I'm just like a channel. Seriously.
No, I know that. I'm not disagreeing with you.
All right, thank you for feeling that too. Okay.
No argument coming my way.
Some people will get it, some people won't, right? And this goes for a lot of different things. So any words of wisdom, because I do think when people come into Shell or another place like it, turn their lives around, and then now they're following their divine assignment. They're able to, right? They're like unencumbered now. They've dropped the rock, which is a big AA thing, right? So now they've dropped the rock. They're following their divine assignment, and they're getting some dirt thrown at them. Do you have any like words of wisdom or anything to? Okay, I knew you would.
Probably one of the top 5 greatest gifts of recovery for me is I really fell in love with myself. Not in a, oh, I love, but like, I'm my own cat. I'm just my own cat, and I'm gonna make my own music and my own poetry and my own design, and it's okay if you don't like it. It's really okay, because it'd be egotistical for me to think everyone's gonna like my messaging or whatever. But if you're gonna be out in the world and you're gonna do what I think are great things, people are gonna take shots at you.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, I just know I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just know that, and I'm okay with that. But I know that I can help a lot of people.
Absolutely, man. And what a shame it would be if some of the people that didn't understand or get it, you let that slow you down, and then you're not able to touch those souls that you can make the impact with, right?
Yes, you'll dig this, man. My vision for Shell was Motown. When Stevie would do background for Marvin, and Michael would come in for Diana, and Barry was out doing his and it was just right. And so mix that with the Haight-Ashbury Free Drug Clinic, the first drug clinic in America that did a needle exchange. Said, dude, you're shooting up, cool, no shame. We just want to give you clean needles. That was my vision.
Holy
this
shit.
is the vibe and the energy that I want here. And so I was talking, I was young, trying to build my business up. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, I can't take people in the ocean? I can't. No, you can't do that. Those people call me looking for work now.
Yeah.
Sobriety taught me to honor my vision.
So I'm a training therapist right now, right? And I remember a supervisor that I was working with was like, you can't wear Chuck Taylors to the office and see a client. I can't
What
do
fucking
that.
book is that in? Yeah, I just don't.
So wait, so me wearing Chuck Taylors is going to affect the impact that I'm going to have on this person?
Right. I create an experience when people come to Shell. There are art books. There's beautiful things.
The photos on the wall were remarkable, by the way.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
You know, I have the residential living in the back where people come and live, where, you know, Ben's my partner. He runs his magic there. And I have a guy that comes stay with me. He's actually a well-known porn star.
Come on.
Yeah. He was like a famous porn star. And I was like, wow. And he says, my wife really wants to meet you. And I think, oh, I wonder what that's like, right? And I met this woman, and her name's Carol Levy, and she has a Pilot Light Foundation. She would go to Rwanda and Uganda and do microloans, and she's incredible. And I'm like, shit. And then they asked me to go 1 year to go with them on the trip. And I'm like, oh, wow. And it was like, would you mind working there? And I said, well, what does that look like? Right? And so literally I flew into Rwanda all day. I got in late at night, and then, oh man, I went to one of the women's community centers, all genocide survivors. A lot of them had AIDS, just horrible trauma. And I saw 14 women that day in session. One woman walked 9 miles, blind eye, walked for the session.
To work with you. Yeah.
To work. And then I would go to northern Uganda and work with children soldiers. Didn't speak the language, but I spoke the language.
That was a gem. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just like it. Had I not been kidnapped, because see, here's the other thing, brother. Somebody's like, I was just gone for like a day and a half of my kidnapping. Try 5 years. Somebody's already got it worse.
Yeah.
And so those pictures were part of the trip from out there. See, I didn't, like, how did I end up over there?
So how do we condense this, Seano, since you speak beautifully? How can we condense this?
Just show up and see where you land. Help people. If God, truth, nature, whatever reality can give you the gift of sobriety or abstinence or not to gamble again, don't you think perhaps there might be a better life mission for you? If that can happen, like if that was taken away from you, if you can just surrender to that. But you got to be curious.
I was just going to say, yeah.
You got to be super curious.
Yeah.
Because my brain always, no matter what, like it always is so interesting. I'm not going to show up.
Wait.
I can't do this.
You still have these thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
You're still human.
Yeah. I told Ben on my way out, I wanted to cancel this thing.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Nothing, and I always will show up.
Look at the fun we're having.
Huh?
Look at the fun.
No, I know. And I want to cancel everything.
The antidote to that is you just look back and say, could I have really predicted this?
No.
Like, dude, I'm getting a master's in clinical psychology doing a podcast. What the fuck? Like,
Right.
10 years
You should be
ago.
managing rappers.
Yeah. What the fuck is this path?
Right.
I'm just being real with you.
Yeah. What you're asking me? It's a path you're supposed to be on.
I'm just making the point, Seano. I just think it's
love my
fucking
job.
wild.
Man, let me tell you something. I started out, I've been doing this 25 years. I would drive to basically Magic Mountain to go see a client, $50 an hour. And I would get so into it, I do 2 hours with them and I only charge an hour.
That's amazing.
And I was so excited about that. I was like, whoa, people are paying me for my brain.
Wow.
That's how I get high now. Like I'm getting high off your success and happiness. Vince, that's what I do. Cause it's like, that's like, I'm in the miracle business.
I'm in the miracle business.
I really am.
That's real.
People come to me on life support, literally.
That's real. I think that there's a lower tone frequency in the general world.
You have to respect the lower frequency. Like I'll tell you, my office at Shell, right?
Yeah.
Literally on the way to Irwan, there's a homeless encampment.
Yeah.
At the height of it, running drugs and prostitution out of it. A street gang ran out of it, okay? It was so dark I could feel the energy. Sometimes I would just go pray and just like I wanted to send them good energy.
Yeah.
But it was funky. And I was out of my league to walk down this thing there because I still have ghetto Seano in me.
You have ghetto Seano in you? Wait, what does that mean, Seano?
That's what we call Miami Seano 85.
Okay.
That's where like, you motherfuckers trying to overtake my fucking neighborhood here. Dog comes after me that they don't keep on a chain.
Yeah.
People are getting down. I'm seeing some stuff I shouldn't be seeing. I'm out of my league going down there. It's darkness. I don't walk through their war zone. I walk around and I'm not resentful. I'm out of my league. If you want to wake up in this world, you got to know where you're out of your league.
I told you I studied that podcast you did with Mike a lot. He said he doesn't do private jets because it makes him think of prostitutes and cocaine.
Right.
So he just
every time.
That's an example of what you're saying, isn't
Right.
it?
That's you got to know when you're out of your league.
Right.
Whatever that is.
We could just bring it home with full transparency, man, I was a fucking sabotager, Seano. For so many years, I was a sabotager.
Yeah.
Because I liked my life on the wire. My life felt better on the wire. I was used to not fitting in, not being accepted, going to all these schools, just used to getting shit on, just being in the dark. You know, now I've uprooted that. You know what it took for me to uproot it? I'll tell you right now. Ego death.
Yeah.
Ego death, baby. I was in a million pieces back with my family in Arizona and Michigan for a period of 4 years. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that long. It was that long.
That's a long time.
It's a long fucking time, man. And I got, you know, like I'm seeing my peers advance, of course, that were in the music business with me at the time. I'm like, they're doing big things. And I'm sitting here at my widowed uncle's house in one of his spare rooms, literally just waking up and getting coffee. That was all I did. I didn't have a way or a path or anything. But like some people are so used to struggle that when good shit finds them, I want to do my little part to get some messages out there to help that.
You got to hit, I think what you have to do is, it's a step one issue. You got to get hip to that's your hustle. You're the sabotage guy.
I like that.
That's a sad story.
Because I feel like I'm on the other side of that.
Well, you are on their side, but if you really want to be brave, invite love in and see what that really feels like. Challenge yourself to love yourself for one. Like I always say to people, if you could just love yourself for one day, what that'd be like? Let's just try it for one day.
Just try for one day.
Just try for one day. And maybe you can't do that, maybe just a couple hours. Like just try. Don't sabotage yourself for half a day.
Yeah. What would that feel like?
And what would it feel like?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of risks I think you have to do that I support and promote.
This has just been such a powerful experience with you, Seano. Let's turn the tables. Do you have anything you want to ask me?
Seano, the thing that probably kicks my ass the most in my life right now is the following.
It's a good question. I think it's with dating. I need to be able to envision and imagine a new experience in that department because, like I told you, I'm 42. So being 42, I've had a lot of different relationships, man. Oh my God, I feel a lot. And I learned and I grew from all of them. Some were painful, some were awesome, some were in between. But there's a long track record there and a lot of relationships. And now I'm like 42 and I'm like, if it didn't happen for me yet, can it still happen?
Yes. The fuck?
Seano, come on, man.
What?
I can't even count how many relationships I've been in since.
I don't care. That's like somebody saying, 22, you know what it is, bro? That's like somebody saying, I've been at 12 rehabs, man. I'll never get it.
Wow. And on the 13th, it's like
42. I mean, that's
yeah. That's a lot.
My humble suggestion to you is you vision board exactly what you want and figure out why that's not happening.
Like get super crystal clear on the partner that I'm trying to that I would be grateful to call in.
Big time. You got to see, you got to believe it.
See, before I was the sabotage guy, right? Now I feel like I've uprooted that. I'm actually willing to let blessings in, okay? Because I feel like I'm on this path. I love what I'm doing with the podcast, love being a training therapist. That's all dandy. It's amazing. But like this department, I'm still in that residue, right? Where it's like, oh, it's always been funky. How do I let go of the funkiness again, Seano?
Do you want to let go of it?
Yeah,
I'm sure?
ready. I'm ready.
So I think my counsel to you, good brother, would be the following.
Yeah.
Man, I'm good at a lot of things. This is an area I need to train a little bit harder. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of light on it, and maybe other guys can, at 42, they got it laid out. This isn't coming easy to me, but I'm going to figure it out because I'm going to be taken care of, and I'm going to work extra hard on this, and I'm going to change the narrative on this.
And bring it in the light.
But you got to actively work on it every day. When you go on the sad story of 42, and you go on the sad story.
All these relationships, you know what I mean?
Who gives a fuck, dude? It's done.
It's done.
It's done. You learn from all of them. Good, bad, funky ones, weird ones.
Now that partner that I'm going to marry gets a much more upgraded version of me because of that 20 years or whatever.
She's lucky, whoever that person is.
See what I'm saying?
Of course I do. Come on, you can't be the sad poet over there. Chet Baker, my funny Valentine. My funny Valentine. Come on.
I love you, dude.
Come on, brother.
No. I think we're just getting started, actually.
Yeah, no.
And we're gonna refer back to this, and
No,
maybe
it's
you'll
good.
fucking officiate the thing.
How cool would that be?
That would be a fucking trip because we come back to this episode and be
Right.
like, remember that? That's how God moves, though.
That's exactly how God moves. We just got to let him move. So you got a lot of God in your smile, a lot of light and pureness, and
Thank
it's
you,
beautiful.
man.
I feel it, man.
Yeah, I'm coming from a real genuine place, man.
Let's get it, brother.
Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Team Seano on Instagram's probably the best. And
Okay. SEANO
on
on
Instagram's
Instagram.
probably the easiest.
Okay,
Best way
you're
to do
pretty
it.
active. I see you out there in the
Yeah, I'm
ocean
out
and
there
stuff
doing
on it,
some
right?
stuff, yeah.
Go follow Seano. Get stay tapped
Make
in.
you
Stay in
laugh,
the
yeah.
light.
Stay in the light.
Yeah, he'll keep it funky and he'll keep it funny too.
Always. All right, brother.
Thank you everybody for tuning
Everybody,
in.
thank you.
We'll see you next episode.
See you next episode.